Super King Ghidorah here with a quick little video announcement. What I have here is what I like to say, just call as true fans just discussing like the love for the franchise. And I figured that I would show this to you all as me, Dino Diego, and Dektoonics were just having a nice, cool, friendly discussion while I was working on my 800 subscriber special for you all, which is hopefully something you all will enjoy. And yeah, for the most part, it will be unedited. I just edited out any long pauses in the video, and enjoy this. If I'm thinking correctly, it's a three-part series thing, and I'm really hoping you enjoy it. Later, people.
Yep, I've seen it.
I have not.
Yeah. It's very random. I was like the only time you're gonna be able to see it is if you're not even paying attention to it, and you just randomly see it like out of the corner of your eye. Like if you just wait there and try to see them, like wait for them to just come, it's like watching paint dry. It's just not. It's gonna take a long time.
It's very.
Yeah, that should be. They should update it and make them fly a little bit lower. Like, come on now.
Yeah. Honestly, it's not a bad little Easter egg. I think it's cool. I think the whole point of that was supposed to be like, I guess some sort of callback to the pteranodons that escaped in Jurassic Park 3. The one from the birdcage. So I thought that was a neat little Easter egg, but it's just so random.
Drop kicking pteranodons.
You just gave me another idea, Dino.
What is that?
Remember when Alan and Grant and them, they found out they was in the in the cage? You're like, it's a bird cage, and then Pteranodon walks up. Then immediately cut after the Pteranodon walks up. Immediately cut to Grant just kicking it, just.
Yes,
oh my god. Do that. That's so good.
Grant was like, what species is this? Velociraptor. You bred raptors? Wu shakes his head yes. Cut to the scene where he kicks a raptor in the jaw.
yeah, it's like no, frick, you should shot. You should edit it like he shoots Wu. Cause it looked like he wanted to kill him. Cause he looked like the scene was honestly like shot like a horror movie. Cause like half of like his face is like casted in shadow, and then like, you just see like one of his eyes. He just looks like just evil.
I guess it was supposed to be some type of foreshadowing.
I mean, I don't think it was intentionally supposed. Like, I don't think they were trying to make him look evil, but I can see where it might be that can be seen.
Yeah, they're not trying to make him evil. It's just like he just looks like visibly concerned, even angry.
Yeah. I want a short snippet on Dr. Wu. I want to see what caused this transformation. Like, I want to see what exactly he did in JP3. When he made the spinal and all that. I want to see what made Dr. Wu go from how he was at 93 to fucking megalomaniac in 2015.
Oh, so that one picture that we got like a while back, like a leaked image of like the that sign of like one of those what is it, like drive-in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And Deck's favorite YouTuber, Best in Slot, actually did a video on that. No, I know. I'm just kidding.
I've let go of my hate.
I think that's gonna forever be a running gag.
Even then, I don't. We all have our opinions, man. If you still don't like him, that's fine. I don't care. But like,
I've let go of my hate. Let go of it.
Yeah. Oh, good for you, man. Good for you. It's progress. Progress. Anyways, so he theorized that maybe it might be a flashback to because on the sign it has like 2 movies, but one of them is like The Thing, which is like a creature feature, like an old horror movie, and basically he thinks that maybe it might be a flashback to like Dr. Wu's past, and maybe that movie can have some sort of inspiration as to why he wants to work in genetics. So I don't know. It was just his theory on it.
It's a great monstrosity.
Yeah, kind of. Except in The Thing, no monstrosity is ever really created, at least by man.
Right.
It kind of creates itself.
I wonder. Man. I wonder who portrays Jeff Goldblum's character in The Fly. I genuinely wonder. Like, it can't be Ian Malcolm. It has to be.
I love that movie. Fucking love The Fly. That one was
Like,
good.
It's like
Part 2 was
thinking.
weird.
I've heard the second one's like bad. I have not seen the second one. I don't want to see the first one.
As a kid, I didn't think it was bad because as a kid, I just wanted to watch any creature feature and I just thought it was cool. But now looking back on it, I gotta say it was definitely a weird movie. Like part one, you could kind of see where they were going. Part 2, that one was interesting.
I just got a few topics I'm going to cover one day. Such as, I can pull it up. Such as the tragedy of Trespasser, the tragedy of John Hammond, top 5 JV updates, and talk about my own personal headcanon, and maybe some good and bad examples of fan service in Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good one right there. Yeah. Oh god, I'm just sitting here thinking, right? Because I kid you not, I had this as a video idea, and I still think I'm gonna do it eventually one day. Maybe if I reach a certain subscriber goal, or maybe when my channel is fucking dying or whatever. But here's Deck, talking about all of these sophisticated topics, right? All these really consistent topics, and I'm sitting here thinking, one of these days I need to record myself reading a Jurassic Park fan fiction because that just sounds like a funny video to make.
I wrote a Jurassic Park fan fiction.
Oh, let me read it. Let me read it on my channel. We'll get you some of that promo, for the continuation of that story.
Dude, I mixed it with Kim Possible, and it went over quite well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I read that when you and Deck were talking, Kim Possible and Jurassic Park crossover. I never even once thought about that. So like that sounds interesting.
I don't know. It's just something about that. It's KP is like Marvel and DC. It's good. It's somehow good when you can mix it. It mixes well with other stuff. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Well, the SKG can make you question the universe.
Now here's the thing. If you read it right, I wrote years before Jurassic World was even a thing. That's why like the concept of it is like so wild, like what happens on Isla Sorna. But I made a hybrid, and half the things that is in that hybrid, it's the same things in the Indominus. They just added a few more stuff, but I'm like, okay, I got Giganotosaurus in there. They got it.
That could just be coincidence, I would see it as like they copied it. They got everything right, or just like most of it, but half.
No, it's definitely a coincidence. Because okay, here's the thing, right? I've noticed that a lot of people, because like let's face it, that hybrid concept is not anything new. But in terms of not just in terms of what's been shown in the franchise, right? But in terms of what's already been thought about in the fan base, right? Because yeah, exactly. There you go. That's a good one. Okay, actually, never mind. Maybe something that's already been said. But yeah, it's something that's already been said within the fan base. But like literally, I think a lot of people have already thought of this before. And what's almost trippy was like there were people who were talking about like kind of the exact same thing that you were kind of talking about, Ghidorah. Like I guess talking about what kind of hybrids would be like or what kind of dinosaurs would be hybridized together. A lot of people actually said dinosaurs similar to like, or the exact same as to what was in the already in the Indominus Rex, which I thought was trippy at first. But then I thought, well, these are popular dinosaurs, so maybe Colin Trevorrow just had the same thought process as the fan base. You know, that's just my thought on that.
Yeah.
He was so.
Or maybe he was stealing for the fan base. Who knows?
Or he was. I think he was someone else willing to make a science fiction Jurassic Park movie again.
Yeah.
Because the 2 and 3 really aren't science fiction.
Right.
I mean, the third one's kind of. I mean, you do kind of see like the lab. The third one, it kind of implies like, hey, it's like sciencey stuff, but like, you know.
Yeah, they don't really go too in depth with it though.
Yeah, they gotta keep the action scenes going.
Like that's what they should have did. They just imagine like they had to include a short scene of some papers left behind talking about the Spinosaurus and like why it's such a raging roid machine.
Raging roid machine. Well, you know, you can thank what's his name? Jack Horner for that. You know.
Yeah, Spinosaurus fucked shit up.
It's like he just like really just hated T-Rex. Well, I don't know. I don't think he hated T-Rex. He just like wanted to give it such a bad name.
No, I think
he wanted to knock it off his pedestal.
I think what you're trying to say, Dick, is I think he just wanted to get like T-Rex out of the spotlight because from what I read about Jack Horner is I wouldn't say he was outright sick of it, but he like wasn't always keen on the fact that T-Rex was always like everybody's favorite dinosaur. I think it's just that whole paleontology mentality where it's like, oh, we should show respect to all dinosaurs rather than just the one very popular carnivore, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was trying to. I think he was just trying to put something else, like on the spotlight. You know, not like, you know, camouflaging Carnotauruses, but you know, a rampaging Spinosaurus. So clearly, that's better. You know, I'm just saying.
Like, I was disappointed that the T-Rex got killed in the movie, but at the same time, while watching Jurassic Park 3, the Spinosaurus didn't disappoint me.
Yeah, it was a worthy.
I liked the design. I really liked everything about the Spinosaurus. As a kid, I actually liked that whole rampaging thing about the Spinosaurus. But you know, looking back at it now and looking at the whole logical aspect of it, you know, it doesn't feel as realistic, I guess. Especially if we're like comparing it to something like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's very movie monster-ish.
I think the thing that most disappointed me about dinosaurs, you know, when it comes from the paleontological side of it, is the fact that they don't sound as awesome as they do in the movies. And it's that running meme says somebody made up dinosaur sounds without ever hearing one.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, because like who was it? It was I think it was Dangerville that did like research on like what dinosaurs actually sounded like. And if you compare like actual quote unquote roars that he shows in that video to roars in Jurassic Park, you could hear the clear difference because they just didn't. He's basically saying that they didn't really roar. So obviously that would have taken away from the what would you call it? Not shock factor, wow factor, I guess, in the movie.
Spectacle.
But at the same time, though, it does make sense because with their closest, you know, relationship being the birds, it does make sense. So they didn't have the voice boxes to produce that sound. But what I did hear, and if I find that video, I'm gonna push it in the group. They said what the T-Rex most likely would have sounded like, and I ain't gonna lie, that was terrifying because it had this deep reverberation that would like echo, I guess, throughout the area, and it felt like the sound feels like it would just go right through you. So I'm like, I can't tell if it's like making a noise or if that's walking. Like, I wouldn't, and you don't know what direction it's coming from. At least when I listen to it from my headphones, I'm like, oh god, that's terrifying.
Especially if like the whole point of that roar is to fill up the whole area, then it would be more beneficial for the T-Rex because then its prey wouldn't know where it's coming from. You know.
Or if it's trying to ward off an intruder to its
right.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, now imagine that though, right? Like a hunting tactic. It makes that sound. It confuses its prey. But what they don't realize is more than one. So what it probably does is one probably even puts itself in a noticeable spot, and the prey sees it. Now they looking at that one T-Rex that's over there trying to see what it's gonna do, not knowing it's a whole nother one way closer about to sneak up and like get the ambush.
Oh boy, you know, reminds me of something. It's like, it's like Alan's little spiel in the dig site to the kid about how
Yeah.
I was terrified.
you're looking at him and he's looking at you, but you don't know there's another one coming from the side. It's about to get you.
And like when you think about it, you have to sit down and think about it. That is actually terrifying because okay, I see the raptor, I'm scared, but I don't know. I'm gonna get blindsided by the other two on the, from my blind spots.
Yes,
Oh, that makes me think of that missed opportunity that they did for the Camp Cretaceous trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You know how in the trailer we see that raptor walking by? See, a bigger twist would have been if the camera just immediately pans to the side and another raptor just comes out of nowhere and attacks us. Because that would have a great reference to what Dr. Grant was telling that kid in the first movie.
That's what happened to Muldoon in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened to him.
Yeah. There's a fan theory that kid, Alan Grant terrorized, grew up to be Owen Grady.
Yeah. I've heard of it.
Well, I guess we'll find out when they have their next interaction in Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to
given that Grant
analyze.
hasn't died from the COVID-19 virus.
Oh God. I mean, Alan's like the person you'd expect to enjoy social distancing the most. Like honestly, he's the kind of guy.
He seems pretty solitary.
Yeah.
Who, Owen?
Alan. Like Sam Neill in real life, he owns like a ranch and he kind of lives in like the outskirts of America. Yeah. So in real life, he just looks like the kind of guy that's really happy with his solitary life.
Yeah, he got his own land of peace, basically.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because in the movie industry, you kind of have to be social.
I think Hayden Christensen also has like a farm or something. I don't know, somewhere off in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, we all know wherever Hayden Christensen picked his spot to live, there's no saying.
Disney screwed him over, but we're not gonna get into Star Wars.
No, if I ever, I'm just saying, if I ever saw that man in real life on the beach, I would be like, I thought you didn't like sand.
But the thing is, Jeff Goldblum seems like a very social person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
He look like he's real fun to just be around.
I think.
Imagine having Jeff Goldblum as your wingman.
Imagine being Jeff Goldblum.
Imagine Jeff Goldblum just talking to you while you go to bed at night. That's just fucking awesome. He can put me to sleep. Just that soothing voice of his, reading me a story or some shit. I don't know.
Bro, the Damien Beaver and Best of Slot, they were so lucky they actually got to talk to Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Wait, Best in Slot got to talk to him?
Yeah, he actually. So Best in Slot was weird about his video because he didn't upload his video until like months after the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I remember.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's probably why I never seen it.
Like the Gaming Beaver, like as soon as he got back to like the UK or wherever he lives, he edited. That was like his priority apparently. He uploaded that video I guess the day after he got back, or the day he got back. He was clearly excited to show off the fact that he met Jeff Goldblum, but Best in Slot, he took a sweet time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think he also has some difficulties with his audio recording, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Apparently he had to somehow fumble around to get his audio from it, from Frontier. I don't know. It was really.
Poor Best in Slot.
It was a whole host of problems. But yeah, I guess they eventually figured it out.
See, it's not a T-Rex. How is that better?
God damn.
Well,
I don't know. I think most people don't like
Yeah.
Franklin's character, but I actually did enjoy him in the movie.
He was okay. Some of his lines, I think it was just written badly in some
Hmm.
parts. He just needed better. He just needed better dialogue.
Right.
I just didn't appreciate the slapstick of his whole bit.
Yeah.
Like that line
I'm
when,
okay
at the
with
end when
comic
Chris
relief.
was like, "Hey, are y'all okay?" He's like, "Nope."
Hey, I mean, hey, he was brutally honest. I gotta say, with respect. Anyways,
Right.
like I'm okay with like comedic like relief, but like they just needed to do it right. I feel like it was kind of a missed opportunity with Franklin. They tried, but they failed.
Yeah, like
The
how
past,
Deck was talking about with Paul Kirby trying to open the vending machine.
yeah, to me, like that was actually like that actually kind of like made sense in that context of the
Yeah,
scene. Like they were trying to like scrounge for like something to eat, and and Billy of course just like kicks it open because
Right, because it
again,
fits Billy's
Paul Kirby
character.
was trying to apply quarters to a
yeah,
machine that doesn't have power to it.
yeah, like yeah, I don't know.
Because see, that scene worked
but
because
like
it fits
I could,
those
yeah, I could definitely
characters.
see that. Yeah,
Yeah, like that's just his character. Like he's just the kind of guy that would be like, well, like even though this place has been abandoned for like what almost 10 years by this point,
Would the
like
candy still be any
I'm still.
good, actually?
I mean, I can assume it's like not perishable.
I
There
never
was like
gave that any
canned
thought.
goods, like Eric. I guess Eric kind of found some like canned goods and stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder like how many times someone could escape these islands, but like every time they do so, like it makes it more and more harder to like escape the next time for someone else. It's just kind of something that I always wondered.
Yeah, somebody in these movies, somebody always dies. At least in Jurassic World, there was no guest fatalities.
Because like I
which
think
is weird.
I think didn't Nick kind of destroy like the communications like thing after he was
I
done
don't
with
know.
it?
Did he destroy the communications after they got out of there?
It's like it just kind of like the thing like exploded. It was like I don't know.
You're talking about when he went up into their camp, right?
Yeah, when he went up to like
I think he
with the
did.
with like the mural and like he got spooked by it.
Oh no! He was turning on the power, and when all the power kicked on all at once, it caused kind of like a little kickback or surge. That's what that was.
Yeah, yeah, but like it just kind of seemed like he maybe like short circuited it after it.
He probably did. With it just jumping on when he just turned the power back on like that, it probably did short circuit out.
So that was interesting in Trespasser. I think like in level 4, like it's the town, and it's like the worker village where that building is, and like when you get there, like the little comm station he used, like apparently it's like not working. So
Yeah,
of course
yeah.
they probably just did that because it's a video game and it can't be like 4 levels long. But it just kind of seemed odd that like it wasn't working. Yeah, thank you for reminding me about that little observation I made, Ghidorah, about the difference in character of how to approach a situation.
Yeah, no, because when it comes to
actually,
movies, characters matter. Like you want people to be invested in your characters, and when they do certain things, it has to still be in their character.
because I actually forgot about that. I forgot about that little observation I made.
Where is it? Damn! Oh, there it is. I need to learn how to navigate this thing.
Like how Billy would just smash the vending machine and he would just try to put quarters into a machine and it's not working.
And like when Billy stole the raptor eggs, that's totally relatable. I mean, who wouldn't? Especially if you think you finna get off the island. Yeah, I would steal them too. Honestly.
Not to mention he, there's a bit of like Nick Van Nolan to him where it's like kind of like morally gray. Because like with Nick, it's like yeah, Nick does he does destroy things, but it's in it's in the name of a good cause in his mind. And like with Billy, he kind of just stole these animals' eggs. Yeah, they're raptors.
I think Billy had more of a. I think Billy had more of a good intention than Nick, though. I think it was just some dumb kid that kind of made a decision that was based on, I guess, a snap decision, maybe, rather than, I guess, plan.
Yeah, I think because I'm pretty sure when Grant was trying to rush back to see if he was still okay, he had to think oh, am I gonna take them or not?
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Make
it's a shame. The music in Fallen Kingdom. I can't remember a single track from Fallen Kingdom.
Honestly, I can't either because, and I got some of the soundtracks, and it's all the Indoraptor thing. It's 5 different versions of the Indoraptor thing.
The Jurassic World soundtrack. I remember, I can remember some of the tracks.
I'm not a huge fan of any of the Jurassic World soundtracks, to be honest.
Right.
Some of it's okay, but that's as far as I can really say about it.
Jurassic World soundtrack, Michael Giacchino, however you say his last name, actually did. I think he did a good job on that.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just not a huge fan of it. That's just me. But,
yeah. I understand. Now, the Fallen Kingdom one honestly sucks. But
as far as soundtracks go, Fallen Kingdom soundtrack falls. Oh yeah, what was the trailer soundtrack?
The trailer soundtrack from Fallen Kingdom, at least, I actually did like the trailer soundtrack from Jurassic World as well too. I like both of the trailer ones, but the in-movie one I just wasn't a huge fan of. And the what?
The first 2 movies, trailer soundtracks.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can make this work. 'Cause if I can make this work, then that would be. Is that a goat? It's a random goat. I keep forgetting that happens on Sorna.
Just like the overall parks theme in Jurassic World, I remember that. Really, just because of how calming it is. Plus, I appreciate if I might also kind of talk about the different soundtracks of each of the films, kind of break them down. These things I noticed, how the first movie's theme is a lot more which soundtracks are more kind of they just sound a lot more calm. There's only a few tracks in that soundtrack that are actually that have crazy moments. I think the incident using Nublar is the only one that actually throughout the whole track is actually ominous and creepy.
Yeah.
And then of course it's that quick boom of action and speed to it.
Okay, so it's gonna have to be 2 fences then, one that does that.
And then the Lost Worlds theme. The music to the Lost World, it is mostly just atmospheric.
Right, it's jungle. It's it gives off that jungle vibe. That's what I like about it.
It's mostly music that you could listen to when walking through a forest, and you would kind of feel you would feel you're in a dinosaur forest or something. That's just how I feel.
Walking through the forest playing some Jurassic Park music. I'm in danger!
The Jurassic Park 3 soundtrack, I think is pretty good too. Pretty solid. Don Davis did a good job. Interesting that he didn't give the Spinosaurus a theme. That's probably because the T-Rex didn't have a theme in the first 2 films.
I actually have a soundtrack on my PS4 for when I be recording the J-Pog music. When I be doing my Jurassic World videos, and you remember that what's it? That Dino short I did with the Spinosaurus in it?
I think I remember that.
No.
The song I used during that Jurassic short, it was actually somebody had threw together on YouTube. It was called the Spinosaurus theme. It's like all the songs that played when the Spinosaurus attacked. And it was like it was really well put together.
I feel like I know who you're talking about. Was the channel called the Shadowed One?
I think so. I need to look at it again. All I remember is like before it started off with the Spinosaurus roar. That's what I definitely remember.
I he covers Bionicle stuff. Funnily enough, he covers Bionicle stuff, and he also does Jurassic Park occasionally.
Oops.
Oh no, I think, yeah, I don't think it was him. I think what I remember him doing a Raptor theme. I don't think he did Spinosaurus theme. He might have, because like he actually likes Jurassic Park 3.
It's like I said, I don't want to say I don't like the movie. It's just like the only problem I had was that they tried to say Eric survived there for 8 weeks. If you said a week, I would have even been fine with 2 weeks. But you didn't know. That's a whole 2 months. when trained individuals with guns didn't last 3 days on that damn island. No.
Yeah, that's something that's interesting in the book's Survivor. He mentioned that like most people like in these situations, like they were rescued within like a matter of hours. Like,
right.
Like they weren't like necessarily stranded. Like, they were just like inconveniently stuck there. Because really in Jurassic Park, like they probably would have been out of there if things had gone quicker, a little bit better within a day. I mean, they probably wouldn't have stayed the night. They would have gotten the power back on. They would have called for the helicopter. They would have been out of there.
Yeah.
And Lost World, I guess the same thing. Like because he mentioned, Alan and Ian were stuck there. They were only there for a few hours. It wasn't like him. He stuck there for like 2 months.
Yeah, and Jurassic Park they was only there for like a day, right?
They were supposed to be there for they were supposed to be there like the 2 days. So I'm thinking on Friday. What happened is on Friday, like they left, and then they got there like probably like around like midday, like Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course they had the whole Brachiosaurus scene, they had the tour and everything like that. Then the tour started, and then of course the tragedy strikes on Saturday night, and then on Sunday is like, because I think they're probably they're probably off of the island like before 12 o'clock, because because it seems like that whole thing happens in the morning. So like the climax of the film takes place in the morning, I think.
There we go. That should be looking good. Hopefully this goes over well when I upload it.
And the Lost World, it's a little weird. I had to figure that out.
Yeah, they didn't care about like the time placement of it.
Continuity or anything like that. It was.
Especially when they jumped to San Diego, like how many days later is this? I'm lost.
If we ignore the San Diego bit, so Malcolm's group thing, they arrived there probably like midday. Oh no, actually no. So apparently like the girl was attacked, right? So that was probably that was like a few weeks after that when Malcolm goes to Hammond. And then he says, "Oh, this, we're leaving right now," and I think he actually meant that. So like he went to like Eddie's place, wherever Eddie was. I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere in New York, I believe. Clayton did a time lapse video on that. Well, I guess on how long it would take to get there.
Huh. Oh yeah, because like he was like he did take a subway. So like I assume like it is like New York. It didn't really seem like New York. That's
right.
I don't know, and plus I just wouldn't think Hammond would stay in New York. I thought he would stay like like California or something. But yeah, so like he would go to Eddie, and they would meet Nick. And I think that same day. Actually, no, I don't think the same day. I think probably like the next day they left. Like they would leave the next day, and then they'll make their way to Site B. So then that next day, they're there getting themselves set up, and they meet Sarah. And then, you know, then the hunters show up in the morning, and then there's a whole little bit. And then that night, that's when Nick goes and sabotages their camp. And that same night, that's when the Rexes attack, and then pretty much everything goes wrong that one night.
Right. And
So
okay, so in Dominion they're talking about having actual more paleontological. Oh, that's such a tongue twister for me. So more paleontologically correct, animals in this one. So do you guys think we'll see feathered raptors?
No.
Probably
No.
not.
I mean, I would like to see feathered raptors. I like to see the Jurassic Park 3 raptors.
I would love to see the return of the Jurassic Park 3 raptors. Best raptors hands down. Like Jurassic. Oh my god, I can go on for days about that.
I guess the film's reception kind of stunted that from happening again. But I don't know. I think they probably would.
Okay, now here's a good question. Who would win in a fight, Blue or the big one?
I think the big one. But like, because she's just big. She's just big.
Yeah. See, I want to say the big one too, because what was the thing? She killed 5 other raptors before the other 2 was like, "Alright, look, we sorry."
I mean, maybe she spared those 2. Or maybe
I have to
because
head out, those.
Huh?
I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, Dino.
All right, take it easy, Dino. So I'm thinking maybe they survived her tests. Maybe she was testing the other raptors, see who's the strongest.
Yeah.
Kind of like how the Joker in The Dark Knight, he told those 2 guys, hey, which one of you is stronger gets the job. So, pretty much just wanted to weed out the weak.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Uh-oh.
And then, because she would, I mean, honestly, I think the big one changed gender. I think it's happened.
You think so? That would make sense.
I think she turned into a he, and that's why he was sexually charged. That's why he was so aggressive. Maybe because he was confused, he didn't know what was going on with himself.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
I imagine if you were an animal, you just ready to change sex. And it was probably painful too. It's quite painful, changing sex. He was probably just angry, aggressive, territorial, trying to establish himself as the alpha. Weed out because the other ones all could have been female. They couldn't have changed. And I think Clayton actually. I think that's what the movie was implying. That the raptors, those raptors we saw, somehow made it while they were in the original enclosure, which would explain why they were moving the big one to that enclosure. And I think I'll explain in Helix Wars that there was they had a bit of trouble with the raptors in the past because the raptors had escaped their big enclosure out in the park. And there'll be some thing where I'm thinking maybe there'll be some massacre or some rangers would get killed by a raptors. I think I'll kind of try to flesh out the big ones, the backstory a little bit. Because I think she's an interesting character. I mean, sure, I'm sure at the time, like Spielberg just saw her as like just like just like the final obstacle of the movie. But I think she had some merit to her character.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you.
She pretty much was like blue before blue.
Right, and I feel like that's what kind of what they was trying to to give a nod to in the third movie. It's like that female raptor was like in JP3 was supposed to be like a nod towards the big one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she killed any raptors per se. I think she just kind of like. It's weird because like it's weird that there's like no other like females, or we just maybe didn't see other females.
Right, because I could have sworn I thought there might have been at least two, because I got confused during that one scene after the raptor stuck her claw in it was Udesky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got confused after that because I remember they did some more calls and I thought it was another female, but I don't know. I probably just wasn't remembering that scene right.
It's Udesky.
Although that one moment with the telephone was hilarious to me too. Like, you got Spinosaurus is standing right there with the phone ringing in his stomach.
Don't mind me, guys. I'm just, it's like I'm just here to return a lost phone.
Right.
Just one of your guys. Spinosaurus was just trying to help them. He wasn't trying to hurt them. Like with Cooper, he was like, hey, is this your lost person? Like, here you go. Just trying to give him back to you. And then like when he hit the boat with his sail, he was just trying to like give them a boost. He wasn't trying to hurt them.
Yeah, the humans just overreacted.
Yeah, they just they just overreacted. Then they freaking shot a flare at him. So why'd you shoot a flare at me? I was trying to help you. Gosh, why are you humans so mean? But yeah, I think like, and I also had to figure out why there was like different like versions of raptors.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. And before I knew that Wu was involved in Jurassic Park 3, I thought they had started to like evolve on their own and they had developed those quills and stuff on their head. But if Wu had something to do with that, then hey.
What I'm thinking is because in the novels, there was this thing where Wu, every time he would like change something about the genome, he would make a new batch of like animals.
Mm-hmm.
They're like versions essentially, kind of like an app,
like a version 1 or 2.0 and stuff like that.
Yeah, and kind of Hammond and Wu kind of had a little debate about whether or not they should kind of
keep messing with the genome,
or just improve the dinosaurs, make them more realistic, make them more so because Wu thinks that he did too good of a job because like they're too fast. They expect the dinosaurs to be slow and dumb and stupid, just to find out they're smart and fast. But the thing is, Hammond didn't care that they were fast. Hammond's like, oh, that's better. They're more entertaining that way. And so him and Wu had a little debate there in the novel.
So he liked that they were flawed then.
Who?
Hammond, because it brought some type of, as long as it brought monetary value, I guess he didn't mind.
Yeah. I guess in his mind, he didn't see them as flaws. He saw them as like improvements. That it's better that his dinosaurs are fast and they're smart because that's more interesting to him, rather than just them being like they're old depictions where they're just dumb, lumbering giants. He found that interesting, and Wu was like, well, Wu's like, well, we can. Pretty much Wu was sort of saying from his point of view, like, it would make sense to give the public what they would expect,
right?
Not to make the real thing. Hammond was like, but these are the real thing. He's like, these are the real thing, Henry. He's like, I want the real thing. He's like, I don't want what the people want. You know, like it's kind of like, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Oh,
Kind of,
okay. So Hammond, even though as long as he did like that they probably brought monetary value, but you're saying that he wanted to make sure that what they were making were dinosaurs and not some type of generic knockoff, due to whatever Wu could splice with their DNA to fill the genome gaps. He just wanted to make sure they had dinosaurs.
Yeah. Hammond, you know, and Hammond was insisting, you know, like Wu was saying, I can make them like more real. And Hammond was saying, Henry, these are real dinosaurs. These are what they should be. But Wu was saying, look, no, they should be slow. They should be stupid. They should be lumbering. They shouldn't be this fast. They shouldn't be this smart. You know, he was saying what the public expects of them is not what we have. What we have is something that's far more different than what they expect. So he sees it as a problem. He sees it as, you know, they must have messed up somewhere. Hammond's like, no, that's wonderful that we have, you know, these vast dinosaurs. You know, that the apatosaurs are actually surprisingly quick.
Right.
Their movements and something like that. He's like, that's, you know, that's great. But, you know, and, you know, you see how Wu, you know, he tries to kind of talk to him. Hammond's like a little delusional. He's kind of senile too, you know. He tries to assert that he's not senile, but I think he is kind of. And it's not, you know, it's not like the movie where like he's kind of like naive about it, where he's like, you know, where he just kind of thinks like, oh, all these things can work.
Mm-hmm.
But like in the novel, he's like, you know, he cares about the safety, but he also cares about the profit that he'll make. Like it really is kind of like that morality, or like just the philosophical debate of, you know, like could you make something for the sole purpose of profit, even if that something is really, really valuable. Like even if that something could really save lives. You know, is it wrong that you made that with the intention of making money? Yeah, it's kind of like that movie you watched about where they had the AIDS virus. They couldn't, you know, they want to get to get it out quickly. Yeah, the cure, where there's problems with it. That's really what that reminds me of. But, you know, I was thinking like with the different raptors, like they were just simply different versions that were going on, that were happening, that Wu was doing. You know, pretty much he would just like tinker with them. Yeah, kind of like how Tony Stark would like tinker with like, you know, with like the basic, you know,
right, with his suits.
Like he would make, you know, like every version would have like a different purpose. So, like that's really what the raptors would be like. Like I think his initial raptors would actually be the Lost Road ones. That's what I think. Because they just seemed a lot more feral, a lot more just wild, and, you know, just kind of crazy.
Yeah, you see, you're probably right. So in that regard, he probably ended up with two batches of raptors, but they went with the ones we saw in Jurassic Park because they weren't as wild and feral as the tiger striped ones.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking the JP3 ones. I'm thinking they also were made by Wu, but like I'm not. I don't think they were made alongside the Spinosaurus. Like when he came back to the island, I think they were made. I think they were made while InGen was like still like, you know, going and doing its thing. You know, like the feral tiger striped guys, like they were just like out of control and wild.
Yeah, they were all over
crazy.
The place.
You know, now, yeah, one could argue that they're only feral because they've been out in the wild for so long. But, you know, but even then, you know, it's like you know, that I just think that they were just the feral ones, and Hammond was like, you know, they're too crazy, you know, for the park. So he wouldn't order that they destroy them. He would just say, like, you just have to, like, you know, run tests on this so we can see for future reference what to do for the raptors. Though, you know, I think Hammond definitely liked the way they looked, but, you know, unfortunately they would have to cut.
Right.
So I think the JP3 ones were supposed to be like a mix, or like there's just like a compromise. seen that too, because the JP3 ones are actually they're not that feral. They're actually
No,
quite smart.
I would say there was between the three that we saw in the trilogy. I would almost want to argue that they're the least feral of the whole bunch.
It's funny because like they still like kill in like pretty like visceral ways.
Mm-hmm.
They still like Udesky, like they stabbed him in the back. Like I think that's what they were smart enough to like not just straight up kill him.
Right, because they knew that
Like,
if they left them alive, there's a chance the people will come down and then they can get them. Because they were looking for their eggs, so they wasn't really out to even straight kill them at first. They was looking for their eggs.
Yeah.
They probably would have murdered them afterwards if they probably tried something, but even still, like at the end of the movie, when the helicopter was coming and they gave the big one the eggs, that's all she wanted. She wanted the eggs.
And I think like yeah, they completed the objective, and you know people say, oh, it's stupid that you know they would have raptors would have killed them. I was like, well, no, they didn't kill them because A, they had the eggs. That's what they cared about. You know, also, why would they risk damaging the eggs in a scuffle?
Mm-hmm.
Why would they risk that? And two, they also heard a helicopter.
Right.
They don't know what that is. They don't know what that is. They're like, oh, I mean, this could be the end of the world. Like, let's get out of here. Or that could be like,
let's take our eggs and go.
You know, it's like, yeah, it makes sense that they reacted like that. You know.
Yeah, that female did keep them in line because what happened after that? It was something that happened that made them back off from, that made them pull back from the whole Udesky trap thing, and that one male raptor bit into his, like, the back of his head and killed him or something like that.
I think it was I think it's because they realized like that their plan had failed and it wasn't gonna work. So she was like, well, I mean, might as well just kill him. You know, put him out of his misery, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't need him anymore. And then, yeah, you're right. She was keeping them in check because if you remember during the scene, like where they were like in like they're like on the beach, like some of them wanted to just like go at them. That one raptor just wanted to like lunge forward and like just tear them apart. You know, she would like, I think you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, that was towards the end. When they all had them surrounded, and I actually like that. I like the timing of that. When they heard the beach and all that, like, oh, cool, it's the beach. We cool. We in the clear. And out of nowhere, all of them just came out of nowhere. It's like they was right there waiting. Like they had been following them that whole time. And then it was like, all right, they finna come this way. We gonna sit right here and wait.
Yeah, you know, again, the Raptors are, and I will give the Lost Road Raptors too. Like they were good. Like they weren't feral enough to know, like, to just spring out and attack. Like, they knew to make sure they were like well into the compound to attack them. I'm just boggled as to how like Nick survived. I mean, they just kind of.
Yeah, maybe it's weird how he didn't run into any. Like, I mean, I get it, they were in the grass, but they got in that compound in the worker village. They got in there so fast they basically swarmed it. So how did he not encounter one?
And I always thought the Raptors, like, I always thought they staked out that territory to begin with.
Yeah, I did too. I thought that was part of their territory.
Like the long grass was just like their game trail.
Right.
You know, like if any unsuspecting creature was to go in there, that they would take him down.
Right, like the other dinosaurs don't show no interest in it because one, they're they way bigger than the raptors, so there's no room for them. The raptors is like, hey, we could colonize this spot.
Yeah.
I always thought that the worker village was their territory. Like like you said, the long grass is either like the game trail or maybe a suitable nesting ground to probably hide their eggs from like the dilos or something, you know.
I personally, I don't think the dilos would like. I don't think they would mess with the raptors.
No, they was definitely outnumbered by those raptors. If it's true that the JP3 raptors were there on that island at that same time as the tiger stripe raptors, then yeah, they would have been outnumbered.
like, cause I think the Dilos have like entirely different sort of strategy to taking out prey. Yeah, the Dilos. The thing is, I think Dilos could either live solitarily or they could live in packs.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they get to like the 10 feet ones.
Right, that's what I'm about to say. If they actually did grow in size to like how they are in the fossil record, then yeah, they probably wouldn't have no reason to stick around in the long grass area either. So they had that area on lockdown. That's one thing we all know for sure.
Yeah, like the Raptors staked the area out. That was like their hunting ground.
Wait,
like you don't go there.
Now you know in Fallen Kingdom how they had the chips on the dinosaurs so they knew where their position was. I was kind of wondering how did they know that the raptors were in that area when when they was looking at the map and they said they had to cut through this area and they said they had to be careful because of velociraptors. How did they know the velociraptors were over there?
Wait, you talking about the Lost World?
Yeah, the Lost World.
Oh yeah, you confused me when you said Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was just trying to bring up the fact because in Fallen Kingdom they had the trackers.
Oh,
so that
yeah,
that made sense. But in Lost World, I don't think they had trackers on the dinosaur. I don't think they had chips in them or something like that. But they knew that there was raptors in the way to where they had to get. I'm like, how did they know that?
Well, I think it was just rather the thing of like, they maybe just suspected that, like this is like the tall grass and sort of stuff like that. Or maybe InGen just like, I don't know. Some people think like InGen, like when they were still operational, like they would release the dinosaurs in the wild. I don't think they would do that. I mean, I think they would have just kept the dinosaurs in cages until they were transported over. But I think InGen just would have had that area for the raptors, and then like, or maybe they just had tracking technology. I mean, it makes sense. Like when they went to the island, InGen, like the hunters were prepared. They had everything, everything they could possibly need. Like they even set up their own like electrical fences and everything. They were prepared. So, it's not hard to believe for me to believe that they had some way of knowing, like which territories is which. Yeah, but I just think like the Tiger Stripe guys, like it was just weird that like that Nick was just not at all like attacked. He had no problems. Just kind of weird.
Yeah, and I never really gave that much thought. Like it just hit my mind. Like yeah, that man wasn't attacked. They all got sworn, but Nick, he didn't see any of them. That was just strange. I guess maybe it was just for plot. I don't know.
I was about to say like maybe it's because Nick was so quick, like they didn't really notice him. But the thing is like Nick had like a flashlight and everything, and like that flashlight was just kind of like going all over the place.
Yeah, that would have made him a big old target. That's a nice beacon right there. Flashlight, oh yeah. You're basically telling them come to the buffet.
Not to mention Vince Vaughn's like tall. Yeah, he's like Jeff Goldblum. He's tall. Like, it just seemed crazy that they didn't,
right.
Want to have attacked him. But yeah, you're right. It's probably just like a plot. Either that, or he just kept it moving. He was saying, hey, I'm just gonna keep it moving. Just don't think about it. Just something goes wrong. I'll be that. But it was also probably because they realized that like Nick would not be like really like. They probably also realized there was only one of him, so like it's like we can let him go.
Right,
like,
probably not enough of a meal to go around since there was a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean, plus like because they fought with each other over the food. It was very clear that the food was kind of scarce.